So my name is Marla Matime, and I am the CEO of the MARM Agency LLC. And first, I'd like to take a moment to thank Pastor Neasley and the Ruby Glow Ministry presenting this conference for the invitation to come and share with you the field of communications, marketing, advertising, and consulting other businesses in these areas. So one of the scriptures that I've lived by and believe daily is Deuteronomy 8:18, which says, "But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he swore unto thy fathers as it is this day." Wealth is not only monetary, but it is also the vehicles and means of obtaining that which you desire. If you want to reach more people, God will give you the power and equip you to garner the audience that you need to get your message out. So today we will be going over branding, PR, and social media. And the 5 areas that I've outlined that we'll be discussing are: what is the difference between the media arms, how to identify yourself as a brand, being seen by others, how communication is key to your success in this area of expertise, and being authentic. Never fake it until you make it, but face it until you make it. So, what's the difference? Let's first take a look at what the differences are between media arms. This is the first step to understanding who your target audience is, how you want to target them, and how to best promote yourself. First, I want to talk about the difference between the different arms of media. We have public relations, marketing, advertising, and social media. The vehicles in which media is driven by are through newspapers, radio, television, magazines, and the internet. And then if you take a look at each section, we see that media is the main means of mass communications in regards to broadcasting, publishing, and the internet, regarded collectively. Public relations is the business of inducing the public to have understanding for and goodwill toward a person, firm, or institution. It is also the degree of understanding and goodwill achieved. Marketing is the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. Advertising is the activity or profession of producing advertisements for commercial products or services. And social media is websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. Here's a deeper understanding of what separates advertising from public relations. Whenever you hear terms like earned media or branded content, those most likely fall under these 2 categories. So under your advertising category, you have paid, which builds exposure. You have the audience that may be skeptical. There's guaranteed placement because you're paying for those spots. You have complete creative control, so you can create the messaging, you create the graphics. Ads are mostly visual. It could be more expensive, and this is why you should buy the product. So you're trying to convince someone of why they should buy whatever it is that you're advertising. Whereas public relations is most likely earned. It builds trust because if you're consulting with a PR person to get your name out there or to share content for you, those individuals have a network of people that trust them as well. Media gives a third party validation. So you have more people that are closest to you that will share the information and messaging that you're trying to put out. There's not a guarantee, and you must be persuasive in your posting to get people to share it. Media controls final version of whatever it is that you're putting out there. So if you share something, it's most likely, if you don't have a large following, it won't go too far. PR uses language. meaning that if you want someone to write an article for you, all of that is encompassed by the language that is used. It's less expensive because just like earned media, a lot of it is free. It's free advertising. And you have to convey that this is important to the audience. So, identifying yourself as a brand. Many of us don't believe that we are even a brand. So, however, every one of us have been in interviews for a desired position with the desired company within our desired dream job or career, thus providing a platform for us to share our resume and package ourselves to make a great first impression. So, whether we are aware of it or not, we have been a brand since before we were considered branding ourselves. If you do not have a social media account or even an email, you don't exist in the digital space. And this is something that I heard quite often when um, myself and a few others were building a team of people that were going to be managing a social media account for an organization. So that organization initially had a social media account, but no one was posting on it. So if you're not active, then the digital space does not understand that you even exist. So consider this. Every day, there are 1 billion names that are Googled, for profit and nonprofit organizations, as well as individuals. This can range from folks just wanting to see your background, your criminal record, or your reviews if you have an organization or company that you're selling products for. Once this is on the internet, it's there forever. So, there are three questions that you need to ask yourself when you go to identify yourself as a brand. They are: what are your biggest strengths? What are you passionate about? And what makes you unique? These are very cliche questions. However, in order to understand yourself as a brand, it's better to write down on paper answer these three questions on your branding. The next step is, as you're building your brand or building yourself up to be a brand, the key component that will take you far is your credibility. You can do this by creating customized content, publish brand strengthening content, demonstrate that you are active in your field, meaning that you're making posts daily on the content that you're trying to share with your audience, your targeted audience. You take your spot as a thought leader, partner with thought leaders, influencers, and gatekeepers in your industry, and get your content published or syndicated on other trusted sites. Those are ways that you can build that trust with your audience. So, being seen by others. A lot of us, and I've struggled with this too. And the first thing that I'm going to share with you guys, and this is kind of like embarrassing to a certain degree because I am in communications, is flying under the radar. Being seen in what seems to be an oversaturated market may seem like a daunting task to tackle. So we end up doing what many call flying under the radar. But are we really flying under the radar in hopes of being discovered? Are we confusing confidence with arrogance? How many opportunities have we missed trying to put a facade of humility on? How often do we withhold valuable information because we feel it may be stolen from us? So when we look at these things, our visibility and humility, missed opportunities, withholding value, these things keep us from reaching our potential and fulfilling the purpose that God has us to fulfill on this earth. Standing out from the pack. And I'll say this again: being seen in what seems to be an oversaturated market may seem like a daunting task to tackle. There is always a way to stand out amongst the crowd. Be human, focus on relationships, talk to real people, show yourself, read more, and build on your strengths. These things will secure you to stand out amongst the crowd. Next, communication is key in this world of media. You have to build your verbal and written communication skills if you want to reach people that will be interested in what you bring to the table. You also have to learn your communication style and your client's communication style, or even your audience. Are you a transactional or a relational communicator? Do you convey the right message when you're standing in front of an audience, or if you're just making a simple post on your Facebook page or your Instagram page? Are you building purposeful and meaningful relationships? And do you take cues from those you work with and for? Since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, there's 90% of social media creators use creativity apps to deal with boredom. Study also found that during the lockdown, Americans spent over 90% more time using apps to create and edit visuals than they did before the pandemic. With the number of visual assets created and shared spiking in April, not only are there more folks on these apps to create, but there are many more who are just consuming the content. So if you believe that you don't have anything to say, or what you want to share is not important, that is contrary to what you might believe. There is someone out there that is looking for the message that you have for them, and you have to share it. You can't sit on it. And I'm preaching to myself in that too. So the most sought after skills are data science at 78%, analytics at 68%, and the user experience at 60%. Companies are looking for these top three skills in the world of public relations, marketing, and social media. The great thing about this space is that you don't have to wait for someone to see you in order to do the things that you enjoy doing and simply share it with the world. And the bonus is, even if you don't go to school to learn these skills, you're building them as you build your brand, as you build your social media presence, as you build your digital footprint. And this, never fake it, face it till you make it. I used to clench my teeth when someone say, fake it till you make it, because I did that for a long time. And then people saw that I was faking it. So when you're faking it, you know the truth about you. You'll come off as deceitful and disingenuous, and you'll make big mistakes that could cost not only you, but the company you represent time and money. When it's real, it is effortless. You don't have to fake it. Just be who you are created to be in the space that God put you in. And I'm preaching to the choir. But then we get to the imposter syndrome. And this has been like a trigger word for a lot of people. And I myself, I would say, has suffered from it. And I know many women who are also powerful women that also believe that, they don't deserve where they are, or, they have just skated through a certain way of life until they got to their desired destination. But the imposter syndrome is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. It is a real thing. It's debilitating, but it can also be overcome. It is this feeling that can be debilitating and prevent you from doing your very best and executing your task with grace and confidence. It can be overcome by the persistence and consistency and surrounding yourself with others who are encouraging and empowering you to see your success. And face it, and you will make it. You have to remember your wins, push through the hard stuff, surround yourself with winners and others who believe in you, and remind yourself of the bigger picture, keeping your eye on the prize. And another way to pull yourself out of an imposter syndrome situation or faking it until you make it is to validate other people. Um, One of the things I'd like to share with you all is I was on a really large project, one of the biggest ever. And there were things about the project that I thought I knew. And then there was a big mistake that I made. And I beat myself up for that for a while. And it wasn't until I prayed and prayed about it. And one of my spiritual sisters was like, "You don't have to stay there, it's over." That empowered me to pull myself out of it and know the next time I got an opportunity, which came not too long after the mistake happened, I knew exactly what to do and I implemented correctly. And the next project went on without a hitch. So I took that information and I learned from it, I grew from it, and I was able to teach others in that as well. So don't be scared to present the real you to the world. The authenticity is at the heart of success. So that's it for my presentation. You all can contact me at my email, marla@marmartistry.com. You can visit my website, www.themarmagency.com, or you can follow me on Facebook at Marm Artistry or at the Marm Agency LLC.